I would like to share the lyrics to a song that I wrote a few years ago. It is a song that I would have loved to sing to this young man if I had the opportunity. If I could take a little trip back in time, talk to myself when I was about 8 or 9, my daddy is long gone, replaced by a man who does not care. Emotional baggage is full, much more than any child should bear. I would tell myself, it will be all right. I know that you are hurting and the pain, it runs deep. You are in the dark and you cannot see. All I ask is that you put your trust in me. And in these words, please believe, I promise, it will be all right. Statistically speaking, there are many reasons why I am not supposed to be on this stage today. That said, there are many more reasons that the stats do not account for, that on this stage in front of you today, in this moment, is exactly where I should be. When I was about 12 years old, my mother made the decision that I should move and live with my grandmother. My mother and my father were married for about a year before divorcing, marking the end of his presence in my life. My mother then remarried a man who would become my brother and sister's father. My stepfather and I never really had a good relationship. In fact, that relationship became so toxic that it made my mother choose that it was in my best interest to go and live with my grandmother. It was while living with my grandmother that I began writing. I started to write down my thoughts and feelings, and some people called them poems, but for me, writing was just a release of the pain and sadness, the frustration and confusion that I was feeling at the time. One day I took one of these so-called poems to my aunt and asked her to read. She did, and due to the circumstances that surrounded my life at the time, what I was writing was decently melancholy. And my aunt curiously asked, "Where is this coming from?" Me being reluctant and way too cool to talk about feelings, right? I just said to my aunt, "Oh, you know, that's just me freaking them words, you know." She was like, "All right, freaking them words, whatever that means. I just wanted you to know that you're a good writer and you should keep writing." So I did. I became addicted to affirmation. It felt good at a time where feeling good was rare. So I continued to write, knowing that the more I wrote, the more of that good feeling I would receive. Years later now, I'm an adult. And I decided to start this community service project that would later become the Nurture the Creative Mind organization. The aim of this community service project, to help young people see their value, giving them the gift that I received so many years ago. It started to all make sense, why I had the experiences that I did and went through the things I did when I was younger. I understood what it was like to want to be seen and to feel valued. I also understood what it was like to not be at all. But then I understood what it was like to finally be seen and feel value. So how am I going to get these young people to believe in themselves? I thought of a few things, but I landed on what I knew. We was going to freak them words. I was going to use poetry as a way of connecting to young people, helping them see themselves and the value in others. Each week, I worked with about 20 young people, teaching them poetry, studying poetry. But in our own way, we used song lyrics that the students chose. We went over metaphors and dissected analogies and all the other academic tools that form a poem. Each week, their assignment was to write one poem, just one. And each week, there were multiple students running up to me and approaching me in the hallways and between classes. "Hey, Mr. Jackson, check it out, I wrote this poem last night." "Hey, Mr. Jackson, look, I wrote 3 poems. "Oh yeah, let me check those out. Okay, cool. Yo, this is dope. I like that. The way you use like soccer as a metaphor for life, that's smooth. You're a good writer. You should keep writing. It was at this moment I started to understand that my story was not unique, that there were so many young people screaming to be seen. I also understood that this community service project was much more than a community service project, that I had found my life's purpose, helping young people see their value. Earlier, I said that on this stage is where I belong. I believe that to be true. What I did not tell you is that when I was asked to be a presenter, there were two distinct emotions that I felt: fear and doubt. I feared that I wouldn't do well or well enough, and I doubted whether or not I was even worthy. But someone planted a seed of belief many, many years ago, and that seed grew, and that belief became my courage. And regardless of how strong the winds of fear and doubt may be, I am rooted in my belief. If you want to do something meaningful, something impactful, something that doesn't cost you any money, but has an infinite ripple effect, then go and give someone the gift of belief. Thank you.